Oh
That
my
just that would
God,
have been that was
Martinelli.
your game. That was the game winner right there.
Oh my gosh, you should have
Good save
subbed
from
off
Ramsdale,
Martinelli. That's
man.
what you should
Good
have done. You
save.
should have put in Trent and Martinelli. Is Nketiah? Why is Gabriel Jesus not playing this full game? You play once a week. Why is Gabriel Jesus not playing the full game?
Man,
I hope Arteta doesn't. I hope Arteta didn't inherit the Pep Guardiola overthinking it when it comes to big matches. Because this is the second time in a big match he's overthought it. You got everything figured out. You play your same system, your same starting lineup, and then when you need to make the changes, your changes have just been bad.
there he goes. What's good, Jeff?
Go, baby, let's go. Anfield, what?
Man, defensive errors again, man.
Anfield,
I was
what?
just talking about the whole Chelsea situation. I was saying it looks like Liverpool's problem is from a defensive standpoint, and Chelsea's is from an attacking standpoint. Craziness.
I think Liverpool's problem is control of the game. They've never had to be like this in their past. Defensively, Arnold is the only issue. As you can see, Arnold was the one who was covering at that point and did an absolutely useless job. Chelsea's problem is scoring. Liverpool's problem is actually the midfield, maintaining control of
Yes.
the game in the way they want to. They can't press. They can't do the high press like this, like what they're doing right now. They can't do it with the midfielders that they have. Like Jones, I don't know why this guy doesn't put Arnold. Like you have no other options.
That's what I said at the beginning. I said at the beginning, like, why is Arnold still playing right back? Like he's got an asset. Like to me, he's like the modern day. Use him in the right areas on the pitch. Like we've seen that he's not good defensively. Why are you still playing him defensively?
I
Right?
don't know.
He can track back as a right winger. Like I don't get it. Like it makes no sense to me. But it's like doing the same thing and expecting a different result week in week out.
I don't
What's
understand.
the
And the
headlines?
funny
It's going
thing
to be
is,
Trent again at the headlines.
but do you know what? The funny thing is? Most coaches would figure out a way if you're going to not change anything. If you want to maintain this 4-3-3, if you want to stick with Arnold as a right back, you would figure out what you're going to be doing then in order to make sure that he's protected. Either you're going to remove put cover, or else you're going to, maybe move Salah to center forward and put a more defensive right winger or right mid in that position to cover Arnold. I don't know, because this idea of Jones, Henderson, and Fabinho, it's not working. I don't know. I don't know what these commentators mean. Of course, they're knocking the ball around with ease. That's what we do. Yo, this Liverpool. Let's talk about this Liverpool team for a second because I don't know why people are refusing to blame Klopp. I refuse. I don't understand. I get like you don't have to say Klopp out. You don't have to make any of those extreme statements, but you need to put the blame where the blame is. You said something. You said something earlier about doing the same thing and expecting different results is the definition of being a fool. And so, if Chelsea is doing that and you're seeing the outcomes, why aren't we calling out Liverpool for doing the exact same thing? Arnold playing as a right back, we know that doesn't make sense. You don't have a midfield player and you're not bringing anybody in. Like you keep changing Jones and Elliott. You pick somebody. You keep playing Fabinho as a CDM, who you know is incapable of covering for your man. So play a double pivot. You can't keep playing 4-3-3 with the same back line, with the same front three, and expect different result. I don't understand it. Henderson should not be starting without a lively center mid beside him. Jones looks lost.
Yeah.
And so for me, it's time to blame Klopp. Klopp has failed this year, just like how, he asked for signings, and he didn't get it. Okay, so adapt. Right? Ancelotti was going through the same thing. And everybody said, change your system. What did he do? He changed the system. He beat Barcelona 4-0. Granted, he should have beat this Barcelona 4-0, not having Pedro, Frankie de Jong at the very least, or Dembele. But nevertheless, he still changed the system. He still played a double pivot. He still didn't make Cruz drop in between the defenders. And so at least I can say, as a Real Madrid fan, I can look back and be like, you know what? I can blame Ancelotti to a point. It goes to and then after that, it goes to the board, right? With Liverpool's opposite. You can blame the board to a point, but then it gets to the point you need to start blaming Klopp.
Yeah, because you got to work with what you have, like you were saying, and obviously Diego Jota is back from injury. What about Firmino? Like, what if Firmino come off the bench and you've got Jones starting? I know they play two separate positions, but if you're a creative manager enough, you can find how to put Firmino in in the midfield to help them get some experience in there. There's no experience. Last time we watched Liverpool Man City, we said Liverpool had to have had one of the worst midfields in the league, hands down.
Yeah. Even of the mid-table clubs like Jones, Henderson, and Fabinho. Fabinho has not looked this bad since he was Monaco days, like early Monaco days. And also he looks old and leggy. And then you have Henderson, who, man, like, first of all, Henderson shouldn't be starting in a team that has ambitions to win the Champions League, to win win the Champions League or Premier League title. Henderson shouldn't be starting. Henderson should be coming off the bench, or
he's a glorified
just be like that
McTominay,
fourth
man. I've
interchange.
been telling people that, but people were trying to gas him up when Liverpool was doing well. I'm like, Jordan Henderson is a glorified McTominay. That's all it is.
Oh, but your boy
The system was
McTominay,
working. That's why everyone was calling him the next.
Is he a glorified
next,
McTominay of the past or McTominay of the last 2 weeks? Because McTominay of the last 2 weeks he's playing like he went through.
When Liverpool was doing well, he was the McTominay of the last 2 weeks. Oh
man.
Boy. Yeah, that's what I tell, man. Systems are a beautiful thing. Systems is a beautiful thing, right? When it's working, everybody looks like, prime Messi, but when things are not working, we start seeing their deficiencies. So
Liverpool would be lucky to not get more than one goal scored on them. It seems like they've settled down a little bit, but that left side, whew.
To be fair, though, my prediction was wrong at the beginning of the game. I thought this was going to be Arsenal. I thought this was going to be one of those games where it would end 1-0 for Liverpool. And it would be. I just thought it was, because Arsenal, the confidence is high. Everything is going well for Arsenal. And at the end of the day, no matter how bad Liverpool is, you can't write them off. So for me, I was like, this could be one of those games where, Liverpool scores a lucky goal in the first 20 minutes, and then Arsenal spends the rest of the game trying to get back into the game, try to score that goal, but would fall short. That seems to be the football story, but I'm clearly wrong right now. And also, Arsenal's goal was a defensive error. So
which has happened to Liverpool a lot this year. Yeah. So from my perspective, it's a typical. This is you say you can't write Liverpool off. I think you can. This Liverpool this year is look where Arnold is now. Watch, if you don't foul Saka here, they're going to be caught out. Look, did I just say this? Did I say this? And then the midfield is now going to have a hole because that's where Arnold is, and he's not going to see it. Yep. And now look at this. Look at this. This guy is such a defensive and I swear Klopp has this thing where that's clean. No, that was clean. Yo, that was clean. If it was scissors, then it's a yellow. Oh, it is a yellow. I don't know, man. Was it a yellow? Nah, he just followed through. He was sliding. What you want him to do? See? Gets the ball. Yeah, that's a double-footed tackle. The whole Arnold situation for me, man, is it looks like Klopp has given him free roam. And I think that's probably where the issue is. There's no other league other than the EPL that has the most inconsistent yellow cards. The most inconsistent. I don't understand it. How is that not a yellow card? Oh, yeah. Konate goes out there to help him. But then, unfortunately, this is what happens. Golazo! I said it, right? Konate goes out there to help him, but this is what happens. You take your big center back and pull him out wide to cover your right back like that. What's going to happen? You're going to get scored on a clean header. Liverpool, man, you guys need to figure out your Arnold situation. Just let him go. This is going to get bad. This is going to get bad until Arteta subs off Odegaard. Once he brings on,
that's what I think. Arsenal is they're trying to get as many points as possible. I mean, as many goals as possible right now.
And if you were to look at the data, man, it'll show that majority of Liverpool's goals against have come from the right side, from their right side. And they're going back to doing the same thing. You have this massive hole in the middle. Nobody, no sizable center back. Look at this. Look at this nonsense. This is the worst coaching in the world. I thought I wanted Klopp. I don't even know anymore. The thing about Real Madrid, you know that they're always going to have quality. So Klopp will be a good coach. The problem with Liverpool is that they let their glory years let them forget about the fact that they need to re-up.
Yep.
You see, City was constantly re-upping. They were constantly winning, constantly re-upping. Changed Aguero, brought in the Argentinian guy, Julian Alvarez, right? And for the future, brought in Haaland because they know they need the present. De Bruyne's getting old, right? You bring in Phillips. What has Phillips done? Nothing. But still, you're right. Your winger situation. You had Sterling, and you still brought in Grealish. Sterling left the following year because his contract he was about to leave on Bozeman. These are the things. You can't just let things keep going on and not expect something different to happen, right?
Yeah.
And like if
they got carried away for sure.
And now they spend baller money. They're trying to get Bellingham. That's not where the problem is. The problem is the right back situation and the midfield. So you go and get Bellingham, and you're going to spend 150 million, which I don't think Liverpool will, because now that PSG is in, this is between PSG and City.
I don't think he's worth the 150 mil either.
No, I don't even think he's worth 100 mil. For me, he's an 80 mil. He's 80 mil max.
Yeah, I think players. I don't understand why people.
It's PSG. They overinflated the market.
Yeah, it just does not make sense. Like no player is worth over 100 mil. No player is. It's like the new Messi contract. It's crazy.
Oh my goodness! Speaking of the one from the Middle East. That's a yellow card. You mean?
Yeah. Speaking of
what was it? Was it like he was going to be making $18 a second?
It was like 400 million. They said 400 million US a year or something like that.
For 2 years. He's going to make $1 billion in 2 years. Just salary, not even endorsements and other things. Goodness gracious. Who knew you could be a billionaire playing a sport?
Yeah, it's getting ridiculous, man. It's getting ridiculous now. It's like, okay, all this money that you have, like maybe you can help regular folks like us.
Nah, man.
How's one man just having all that money?
You forget it makes more sense to in order to keep things as they are, you don't spread the wealth, right? You keep localizing the wealth. That's what it's about, right?
Yeah.
It's never been about spreading the wealth. If you spread the wealth, then it means that their dollar is worth that much less.
That's fair,
right?
Yeah.
That's their argument, right?
Yeah, sorry. Quickly going back to the Klopp situation, I forgot what I was listening to this week, and somebody made a great point. Is I think Liverpool is just going through, like for the last 5 seasons, they've been neck to neck with City, and gets to the point. This machine has been overworked, right? Like we talked about, you have to refresh the team. Like these guys are now on the lighter sides of their ages, in terms of professionally. Half a team is hitting 30. Van Dijk, Alisson, Salah. Their main players are 30 and older. So this is where I think right now they're going through that transition. They've gotten a few younger players, but it's just not up to those levels. And I know we had this whole argument about Mane. But I know Mane was a huge part of Liverpool, but I think the biggest reason was them not investing, like you said, because I believe if Mane was in this team, they would still struggle. Yeah, they might not be sitting. What are they sitting now? Like seventh on the
Yeah,
table.
I think
They
seventh.
probably
Yeah.
wouldn't be sitting seven, but they would be struggling just as much, just because it's. And someone else explained, it's just like anything in life, right? You've got to freshen it up. If you keep listening to the same person hounding you down with the same tactics, the same, at some point, it's just gonna fall on deaf ears, right? And another great point somebody made too was, we talk about Liverpool, right? They
Yeah.
played every possible game that they could have, any team could have played, any professional team could have played last season. And what did they come out with? Just the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, which they won on penalties. So to the
Right.
players, they put all that sweat, sacrifice, everything, and then City still wins the league at the end of the day. Even though we know City got a lot of lucky calls that went their way throughout the course of the season that really changed it. The clearest example was Rodri's handball in the box in the last, I think it was the third to last game of the season, which was a clear handball, but they didn't call it. You know what I mean? So obviously we know that these things happen in football, but I think overall, I think Liverpool is just burnt out. The players are burnt out. A lot of them just need a new project, and I think that's why. Not saying that Klopp isn't a good manager or a great manager. Maybe it's time that you get a new manager, or in the summer you overhaul these players. But good luck trying to do that. Like, who is buying Thiago right now? Right, this guy has barely kicked the ball. No one's buying Thiago.
Maybe Qatar.
Yeah, who's buying Henderson? Right, like no, no competitive club is buying Henderson. Who else do we have? Trent will go. Like, people will buy Trent. A lot of people will buy Trent. But they won't buy him as a defensive midfielder.
Not any team that has top. You'd have to be like a farmers league, like Ligue 1. Nobody with top flight ambitions is going to bring in Trent Alexander-Arnold.
You think so?
No,
I think he's got enough
not
qualities in the game that teams need.
Not unless you're recreating him. Not unless you're recreating his position. Because right now, he would do well in a Conte system where he plays as a right wing back. And he wouldn't, because he's going to expect him to come back and defend. I don't know who.
Yeah, you got to play in a team that there isn't much of that. I think he might do well in a team that doesn't rely so much on systems, kind of like how we talked about Real Madrid with Ancelotti. He's not a system manager. I think part of the problem to players like Trent don't necessarily do well in these rigid systems, right?
I don't know. I think he does. I just don't think. I don't think he would do well without a system, because without a system, everybody expects you to do your job.
Yeah.
Which means if you're a right back, they expect you to be there to do your right back job, because people aren't going to come back to cover you if it's not right. It's like Arnold is not a right back. Arnold is not a right back. Let's be easy. Let's be very real. Arnold's not. He's just a slow, wide midfield player.
Yeah,
that's all he is. But nobody. But because Klopp doesn't play anything but a 4-3-3, he can't get the best out of him. So for me, do you think Arnold is worth? Do you think a 24-year-old Arnold that grew up in your system is worth more to your club than than Klopp? Or do you think Klopp is worth more to your club? For me, I would just move on Arnold. Get your money from him now. But like you said, from the front to the back, Van Dijk, who's going to buy? You could probably get someone.
Oh, Van Dijk can still go for it.
Why do you need to sell Van Dijk?
Yeah,
Van Dijk probably has 3-4 more years at this level. Konate, young, you just brought him in. At least you have that covered. Trent, Robertson, he's young. He's 30 or 31, but at least he's still delivering. He's still delivering. Your midfield is a complete revamp. Your young guys ain't doing ish, right? Fabinho, I would.
The young guys just don't have the leadership. They just don't have the leadership. Jonah Henderson is not the leadership or example that you need when you're developing. Like, if you had like Thiago healthy, you had Fabinho not the Fabinho of now, then we could have seen these young players doing well. Like he's played
Elliott?
Elliott, yeah. Elliott was playing well because he was playing next to, well, that was when the team was doing really well
Last year was
too.
when he was coming back. He was playing well until he got that horrendous ankle break.
Injury, yeah, exactly.
But like he was never going to be. I don't know. I mean, sure, you can say that.
You're right. He was probably never going to be the mainstay, but at least being around those players with experience would have allowed him to develop his game, right? But now there's nobody in the midfield that is worth, Henderson is experienced, but he's not the midfielder you're going to gain that world-class experience, right? There we go.
But I think Liverpool has only 2 players who are top of their position in the EPL, almost in the world.
Van
and then you have everybody else, and then the rest of the
it.
team is not even top 10 in the world or in their position in the EPL. The 2 players is Van Dijk and Salah. Salah is the best right back in the world, right winger in the world. There's no other right winger.
Let me ask you though, before the season, would you have put Trent as one of the top right backs in the world? During Liverpool in the last 5 years when Liverpool was doing what they did.
No, I put him top. I put him top 10, but not top 5.
Top 5. Yeah, I think a lot of people overlooked his defensive. Okay, what's going on here?
Look at him.
That's why I think this whole Liverpool thing. I know, but we're fans, right? And when it comes to fans, we always have to look for that scapegoat, and we like to pick the scapegoat and hang them. Right. And I think right now Trent is become the scapegoat for Liverpool. And I do get it. Yes, he's defensively awful, but the coach keeps playing him. The coach keeps playing him in the same position, the same manner, week in, week out. And I think at some point, coaches need to be held responsible too, right? Like you can't. I know Klopp has done what Klopp has done, but Trent was also part of that team that did great things. So we can't just select one player and just keep hounding that player, right? Because you could sell Trent tomorrow. It doesn't solve the issues that Liverpool is having right now.
No, it doesn't.
It far from does it. Like it's that midfield is horrendous.
Like look at Jones. Look at Jones. Look at Jones. At least he made the right decision. There you go.
Salah with the goal.
There you go. There you go. Look at Jones.
I told you Salah was going to score though. Like that's always
man. You know what, man? Yeah, I agree with you on that. But again, like these sorts of goals put Scotch tape over the problem. You know, like all that was Jota. He had the great hold up there in the final at just the edge of their final third. Turns and plays it wide to Jones, and then recovers right here. Looks up, beautiful. Henderson, lucky this guy.
I don't know if Henderson was trying to shoot or pass, but
he was trying to shoot for sure. 100% was trying to shoot.
That looked good on camera though. Even too, like Van Dijk in the last game against was it City they played but it's just like I don't know what's going on with Van Dijk, man. Like
Van Dijk is not sure.
That KDB's goal we're talking about, that was pathetic, man. Like
which one?
Like I don't know what it is with Van Dijk. It's like he doesn't believe in tackling anymore. Like there's so many goals you see, like why didn't you just tackle? He just feels like he can use his speed and strength.
That Jordan Pickford tackle on him, I think it's stuck in his mind, man. Because that tackle was so bad. Oh my gosh, I'd be scared. But I also think he's kind of like, I think he's 2 things. One is that injury, that knee injury, a tackle on Jordan Pickford should have like a 10-game match ban. By the way, I hate that guy. I think he's useless. Hopefully, Everton gets relegated so that they can, so that he never plays. Right, that's one. The second is I think he sees the writing on the wall with Liverpool, and he doesn't know whether he's kind of like Varane. This is how Varane played in the final year before he left to United. It was almost like he needed a new challenge, almost like I've done it all here. There's nothing left for me here. You know, like I don't feel up to it anymore. And the thing is, he would do well he would do well at his age. In his final years, he would do well going to La Liga or Liga, where it's not as physical. I honestly believe so. Unfortunately for him, I mean, maybe Barcelona could use him. But okay, buddy. You can't twist and turn the whole world. You need to move the ball at some point. Box office stuff. It's okay. Get up,
Jesus, man. It talks about you guys might be getting another number 9.
Well, yeah. I mean, Balogun is doing well in Ligue 1, so I think he's going to come back. He's on loan.
Yeah.
And I don't know who else we could really get. If we win the league, I feel like, hey, I wouldn't mind getting Osimhen. If you get the money to get Osimhen. The problem with Osimhen is that it pushes out Jesus, right? Like, you can't get anybody who is established or who is
yeah, but that's what I was asking.
Establishing themselves in their career now. You need somebody who is kind of there, but they'll try to break into. But like, then it impacts Nketiah, and he's an Arsenal youth boy. Like, I don't know. I think Arsenal's situation is the same situation across the entirety of Europe, right wing. And that's what I'm saying. Liverpool choosing Salah over Mane was smart, because there are a plethora of left wings. There aren't that many right wingers that are top quality, top notch, and you have the best in Salah. Arsenal's problem is the right wing, because the backup, for me, it goes Salah, then Saka as the top right wingers in the world right now. The moment you fix your backup right wing situation with Arsenal, and then your right back situation, you're golden. Because then White is still starting right back, but then he could drop into the center back position when you need him. I think that's really the problem. If you either that, or you get rid of Nketiah, right? Because if you think Nketiah is not a good backup, then you got to get rid of him. But you're not going to be able to get top quality. That's a foul, ref.
I think another thing people were saying is that Jesus is not really a number 9, right? He's more of a, like, his best games for City came from the wing. Even when you look at how he plays for Arsenal, he seems to drift to the wing. And then I feel like he's kind of like a Rashford. I don't think they're true number 9s. And I think that's why some Arsenal fans are saying Arsenal still needs a true number 9. And then obviously you got Jesus that can support.
For the system we play, what does that mean? For the system we play, we don't need a true number 9. We don't need a Haaland. Haaland would do terrible at Arsenal in the way we play. You need a number 9 like Benzema, which is just who Jesus is. He can drift to the wings, he can drop down to the midfield, he can create. Connect, he can create. That's what you need, and he's perfect. That's the number 9 you need. And that's why with Nketiah we're having problems until he started to do that, until he started to drop. And then he started seeing him scoring. And then the whole thing about can Nketiah take on Jesus's responsibilities? He was able to for a period of time, then he got injured.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also, that's another thing too, is injuries, right? Jesus tends to miss a lot of games throughout the season as well.
Yeah, he did this season. Look, he's not injury prone. I think this season he got bad luck in the World Cup.
What? He used to get injured for City. Like he was getting injured for City.
Was it injuries, or was it Pep not really playing him, and so he kind of gave up?
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it could be. That could be another one too. And also, if you're not playing regularly, right?
Yeah, you're gonna pick up an injury. Pick up an injury in training or in that one game where you overexert yourself because you're not really. You're just thinking, I got to show the coach. You're not really thinking, you know what? I got to pace myself. I got to really build myself into the game.
Yeah, and it's also the way what's it called? It's also the way he plays, right? He's somebody who attracts a lot of defenders on him, right?
And a lot of tackles.
Oh my goodness, that makes sense as to why he's Yeah,
You know
why he
what's
gets
funny?
injured.
I feel like that's a Brazilian thing. Brazilians, when they play, they attract a lot of tackles because
But I think
there's
it's
the
just
whole
it's just dribbling, right? It's just this. It's just people
yes,
know that you have
the
the
ball
technical
stuck to your
ability.
feet. Yeah,
Yeah, it's like
but it's
when
way different than like Salah. When Salah doesn't draw a lot of tackles to his feet. He
hmm,
just draws. He just requires a left back and a defense and a holding midfield player, right? They will drop on you. But
yeah,
Jesus, you get like both center backs. You get a center mid defensive mid. You know, same thing with Vinicius Jr., Martinelli. Like you just see like four guys on them
yeah,
because the way because the way they play, the way they dribble is to draw players to them. They
yeah.
don't play the way like Salah and Mane and them, where they're trying to be very direct. They're trying to move the ball.
Yeah, because they're usually off the cuff, right? It's more of honestly, it's the positions they play too. They're more off the cuff because, like, if you notice, Salah is always receiving, like he's receiving the ball, and right away he's basically going directly, right?
Yeah.
He
Oh,
usually
right
has
away.
more space. He usually has more space to do that. But you're right. But that's why those players are so dangerous. He was like even with Manchester United when we had like Pogba. That's one thing that we miss. You need players like that on your team. Over when Pogba was not in his best form, just him being on the pitch. Now that's 2 or 3 players that always had to keep an eye on him, right? Because you know that give him time and space, you're gonna get destroyed, right? And that's why you need players like that. Neymar's. There's certain players that even if they're not doing well, just having them on the pitch now it gives defenders something to think about. I think that's something that I think Arsenal. You guys have that with Saka. You have that with Jesus, right? You guys have enough players that every time they get on the ball, people are, like Saka needs at least 2 defenders on him now
Oh
at
yeah,
all times. He
minimum.
needs 2 defenders. Every time he gets the ball, you're going to have 2 ready. And then that draws away from the team,
Yep.
right? So,
And
yeah, it definitely makes a lot of sense. I
that's why
think that's
Odegaard
where
is
in
always open.
United we're lacking. We're lacking that player that
What do you mean?
it's too comfortable.
you
It's
got your
too
Brazilian
comfortable.
magician Anthony.
Actually, you know what? Yesterday's game against Everton was the first time since he's come in that he was actually taking players on, and and he was being
And
productive.
beating them.
And he was being productive, yeah.
Yeah. But I
Because a
mean,
lot of
it's
times he's
Everton. This is
taking
a
them
team
on,
that is
but
about to get
it's not.
relegated.
Sorry.
This is Everton. It's a team that's about to get relegated. Yeah, I wouldn't put too much on Rafinha right
No,
now,
I'm not
man.
putting too much on it, but at least I saw something. At least I saw some. At least I
Yeah,
saw a little bit of what we've been asking from him.
I get. Ooh, that's foul.
Ooh,
Oh no!
Darwin Nunes.
Oh, Darwin! Yes, Darwin!
Darwin Nunes, yo. Ooh.
Arteta took off Odegaard for why? Why did he took off Odegaard for Trossard?
I think he needed that energy though.
I guess Odegaard sort of fell away.
And Trossard has been playing really well though. I think he needs somebody more physical.
Who is
Because
this number
Odegaard is not as
15?
physical, right? In the middle of the park.
Wait, but
And if you have
who's this
Thiago
number
in
15?
there.
He did two subs. Who's this number 15 guy? What did he bring in? Did he bring in Geowar? Geowar, whatever his name is. Oh yeah, he did.
Who is that kid?
He's playing 3 in the back. He's changed the whole system up. He's
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 gonna
like a
clog the
young
midfield.
he's young up and coming center back.
I think it's because of Thiago. I think because he realized Thiago started controlling the midfield.
Yeah, but he has 5 midfield players. I don't know. Yo, Holding, what the
I think because right now Arsenal is trying to protect the lead, right? Because remember, you're away from home.
No.
Right?
I know they
Liverpool
need to
has
protect the lead,
momentum.
but it's interesting that he's doing 3 in the back then. He must be doing 5 back then.
Oh yeah, because
Yeah.
Zinchenko has probably dropped to the middle as
Who?
well. Zinchenko. Is Zinchenko still
Yeah,
playing?
Zinchenko dropped to midfield
Yeah,
with
he's dropped to the middle.
Partey
Yeah.
and Saka. Yeah, he has. Okay. This is very interesting. This is very interesting. Final few minutes.
This is risky for Arsenal right now, man. This is a desperate 3 points right here. Ooh, you guys talk about Trent, man. Oh, Trent just showed you why he's still.
Oh my god! This is why this guy's not a right back.
Why Klopp still plays him? Ooh,
the guys, these dude messed up. This 5 back.
Zinchenko just got dealt with.
Zinchenko got ruined. This 5 back was not a bad. He should have brought in Trippier. Because look at Zinchenko's decision here. Bad decision. Absolutely bad decision. What are you doing?
He's following.
And now your center back is out of position. Bad decision.
Like, how do you follow the play outside the box?
Bad decision. He looks tired though. That's what I'm saying.
No, he shouldn't have. That was the bad decision. Why didn't he follow the play outside the box?
This is a bad Arteta bad call to keep Zinchenko in there and drop him to the midfield. What are they doing? Just launching the ball. Relax. No. Yes. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Play it wide, you idiots.
Yeah, it looks like all your experienced guys are off the field now, and it's showing.
Oh my god.
That has always been the risk at Arsenal all season. It's right. You guys just have the one team, right? And it's like you've been very fortunate how you've managed your injuries all season. But this is looking like because you've taken off Jesus, you've taken off Odegaard, you've taken off Zinchenko now. Is Martinelli playing at all?
You haven't subbed off Zinchenko yet. Oh, we did. Okay. Even if we lose to City, like we needed this win. We needed this win.
Yeah, this was definitely like you could still be fine.
It's just
win. Still like
you can still lose because with this this is going to be 6 points instead of 8 when we meet them. But now when we meet them, it could be 3 points instead of 8 instead of 6.
Yeah,
or instead of 5, I guess.
Oh my God! Why are they just watching the ball go in?
Listen, Ramsdale is definitely that's not a penalty. You guys, break
nicely
counter.
Done. In the middle.
Counter.
Middle. Oh,
counter, right there.
God. That's why Odegaard would have been more useful. Oh my God!
I'm telling you, Martinelli sucks. Martinelli's the worst. I'm telling you, man.
I think you just said. I think you said he was better than Mitoma.
No, I didn't say he was better. I was questioning. How could you pass?
Mitoma would have been a better pass than that, man. That's what I'm talking about.
Why is your pass so bad?
That's what I'm talking about, man. Mitoma would have made a more precise pass. Holy cow, man! That was your game. That was the game winner right there.
Oh my gosh! You should have subbed off Martinelli. That's what you should have done. You should have put in Trent and Martinelli. Is Nketiah? Why is Gabriel Jesus not playing this full game? You play once a week. Why is Gabriel Jesus not playing the full game?
Man,
I hope Arteta didn't inherit the Pep Guardiola overthinking it when it comes to big matches. Because this is the second time in a big match he's overthought it. You had everything figured out. You play your same system, your same starting lineup, and then when you need to make the changes, your changes have just been bad. Another center back, and you lose the midfield. Man. You keep Martinelli in there, and Martinelli's job should strictly just be look up. Stop dribbling with your head down. Look up because now you're a midfield player. You're not a winger. We could have won this game multiple times. We could have won it at the end. We could have won it in the beginning of the second half. We should have won this game. Arteta, hope you have not inherited the Pep Guardiola overthinking things in big matches, man. Bad tactical second half. Bad.
Yeah, that second half was just like you said. It was the coaches. That was definitely the coaches that won that game for sure. Like Klopp won that game because the changes that he made impacted the game. Thiago coming in, strike control in the midfield. Nunes coming on, Firmino coming on. it was no longer Salah was no longer the focal point anymore. Even though he was still there, but a lot of times when you just have Salah playing, he's the guy that everybody's trying to stop, right? So yeah, this was definitely bad from. I think he made the subs too early, taking Jesus out,
He made the
Odegaard
subs.
out.
The problem was that he changed everything all at once. Rather than like Jesus and Odegaard, your two attacking prowesses, you remove them at the same time. He should have taken Odegaard out, I get, because Odegaard sort of became a ghost when Thiago came on.
Yeah,
He should have been like, "Hey, I need to regain back control of the midfield. Maybe I'm going to play Vieira or Jorginho. And if you're not going to do that, you keep Jesus on, right?" So
was
then
he
at
worried
least you have
about
an
the
outlet.
Jesus injury, like just not getting him injured again?
No, he's
Was
been
that
back
what he
for
was
4
worried
weeks
about?
now, man. He's been back for what, 3 weeks? He's been back for 3 weeks. Why can't he? Why can't he play at least one full game? All he's doing in that game, like, I don't know. I don't think Jesus's injury meant that you would. He did that same thing in the Europa League where he subbed Jesus off, and I was just like, I mean, I'm sure Jesus is fine enough to play 90 minutes by now, right? And if he wasn't fine back then, at least now, when is Jesus going to play 90 minutes? When? You have 5 games left. When is Jesus going to play 90 minutes? Next year?
Yeah,
Like you can't be. You just needed Jesus on for 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes. I guarantee you, we would have counterattacked them and scored because there was space. The problem is Martinelli was a person who we had to rely on to keep his head up and pass the ball, and he's not someone who does that. As you saw, remember that? How many times did he lose the ball in the midfield in our final third because he's trying to dribble through everybody rather than making the outlet pass to the wing?
that's crazy, man. That is crazy. Yeah, these are the fine margins, man, that we talk about. In terms of coaches and experiences, Arteta has done a great job, but this was definitely he definitely got the decisions wrong today.
And
Decisions were
Martinelli, it's not that
wrong.
I'm saying Martinelli isn't good. I'm just saying that Martinelli at certain,
No, I was just kidding about that comment about that question.
I'm not saying Martinelli isn't good. I'm just saying that there are times when you need him to play with his head. When he puts up his head, like that cross to Jesus, he picked his head up. When he picks up his head, because he draws so many players to him, like Vinicius, when he picked Vinicius Jr., the reason why he's prolific right now, watch him. This guy dribbles with his head up. He is a phenomenal dribbler. The way to be able to dribble with your head up at pace is such a difficult thing to do, and to do it at such a young age is something phenomenal. Martinelli figures that out because every time he picks up his head, there's always a space, there's always a player open, and he does the right thing. But when he has his head down, he can't see clearly, and because he draws so many players to him, before you know it, he has 6 legs trying to get head at the ball, and he only has 2 feet. And that's what happened here. He lost the ball too many times because dude made a tactical error in terms of losing the midfield battle. He chose to defend rather than continue to win the midfield battle. And especially on Thiago, who was coming back, he's not fully fit. Just you would win the battle.
Yeah, I think, like you said, right? He clogged the midfield, thinking he could nullify Thiago's subs,
but he didn't clog the
Thiago
midfield
coming on.
He didn't clog the midfield. He clogged the box. And because he clogged the box, there was chaos in the box. And so you were able to have somebody who Nunez was always open on those long balls, right? Those 2 times Nunez was just waiting for the ball to come down, right? The penalty was because Nunez was open, long ball, the deep ball to Nunez, brings the ball down, did a terrible job, and then it lands on Jota, who draws the foul on holding. He created chaos in the box because
that makes sense, man.
Didn't know what they were what they were doing because you had an extra center back in there who's never played with them before. Like, it just made no sense. It was a bad decision. It was an utterly horrendous tackle decision by Arteta. And now we'll have to see what Now we have to beat City.
From a neutral perspective, it was definitely better than the Chelsea Liverpool game. That game was boring.
Bad game. I went back to work. That's how boring it was.
Yeah, like it was so bad that both sets of fans had to apologize, man, to the neutrals, saying they had to give a PSA, like, hey, really apologize for how embarrassing that was, because they felt embarrassed, both teams.
Yeah, it was tough to watch, man.
It was, yeah. I think it was the first half I watched, and I was like, yeah, I think I'm better off going to do other things.
Yeah, no, I did I watch? I don't think I even finished the first half. I just said, no, I'm not doing this. I really wanted to see Conte coming back, but he didn't come on until later.
Yeah,
because I wanted to see how Chelsea was after he drawn them for Champions League.